Morning sunlight streamed through the windows of Enchantia Castle, bathing the royal halls in golden warmth. The scent of blooming lilies drifted through the air, and the sound of cheerful trumpets echoed in the courtyard below. Today was no ordinary day. It was a royal friendship festival, one of the most beloved celebrations in all the kingdom. Princess Sofia hummed a tune as she adjusted the lavender ribbons on her gown. "It's perfect," she said with a smile, twirling before her mirror. Her amulet of Avalor sparkled softly against her chest, as it always did, filling the room with gentle pink light. But when she reached for it this morning, something felt different. The warmth that always pulsed from it was gone. She tilted her head and whispered kindly, "Good morning, amulet." No shimmer, no glow, just silence. Her heart skipped a beat. The amulet, her magical link to so many lessons, adventures, and princess friends, had never failed her before. She tapped it lightly, as if to wake it up. Still nothing. "Sofia," Amber's voice sang from outside her door. "Father says it's time. Everyone's waiting for you to open the festival." Sofia tucked her amulet gently under her collar and smiled. "Coming," she called, though worry lingered in her voice. Outside, the courtyard was a wonderland of color. Banners fluttered, musicians played cheerful tunes, and children laughed as they carried tiny friendship flags. At the center stood the friendship crystal, a shining gem that represented unity between the castle and the village, a gift of peace from long ago. King Roland smiled proudly at his youngest daughter. "Ready, Sofia?" She nodded. "Always." But just as she stepped forward to begin the opening ceremony, a sharp sound cracked through the air. Crash! Gasps echoed the courtyard as the friendship crystal split down the middle, light bursting from it like shattered stars. The music stopped. The banners fell still. Amber rushed forward. "What happened?" I don't know." Sofia cried, running to the crystal's base. "This crystal is protected by royal magic. It can't break." King Roland turned to Cedric, who was hovering nervously near the edge of the crowd. "Cedric, can this be fixed?" Cedric frowned deeply. "Well, perhaps, but such magic doesn't fail on its own. Something or someone has disrupted it." Sofia pressed her hand over her amulet, a cold dread filling her chest. If the amulet's magic had gone silent, could it be connected? Then, faintly, she heard it, a whisper, soft, eerie, like the breath of wind through the trees. "Let's see who you are without your magic." Sofia froze. Her eyes darted around, but no one else seemed to hear it. "Did someone just say something?" she asked quietly. Amber frowned. "Sofia, are you all right?" Sofia forced a small smile. "I'm fine. I'll find a way to fix this. I promise." But as she looked down at her amulet, dim and lifeless against her heart, she felt an ache she couldn't explain. For the first time since she became a princess, Sofia felt small. The magic that had once guided her, comforted her, and reminded her she belonged, was gone. She took a deep breath, straightened her crown, and whispered to herself, "If my magic's gone, then I'll just have to find another way." But even as she spoke, the whisper returned, distant yet clear. "We'll see, little princess, we'll see." And in that moment, as the laughter faded from the courtyard and the cracked crystal dimmed to gray, Sofia knew that this was not just a broken festival. It was the beginning of a journey she would have to walk on her own. The once sparkling halls of Enchantia felt strangely quiet that evening. After the chaos of the Friendship Festival's unexpected disaster, the castle had fallen into uneasy calm. The broken halves of the Friendship Crystal had been carefully wrapped in silk and taken to Cedric's workshop, but even he wasn't sure what had gone wrong. Sofia sat by her window, the sunset painting streaks of gold across her room. She held the amulet of Avalor in her hands, staring at it hopefully. "Please," she whispered, "if you can hear me, I need your help." Nothing happened. No shimmer, no hum of magic, only the quiet sigh of the wind outside. For years, the amulet had been her guide, calling upon princesses like Cinderella, Rapunzel, and Ariel whenever Sofia needed wisdom or strength. It had always reminded her that kindness and courage could conquer anything. But now it was silent. Sofia stood and looked out at the village beyond the castle walls. Lanterns flickered in the distance, and she could hear faint music from the town square. The people of Enchantia were trying to carry on, but she could feel their worry in the air. Amber entered quietly, her golden gown glimmering faintly. "Sofia," she said gently, "Father thinks maybe you should rest. You've been pacing all afternoon." "I can't rest," Sofia replied softly. "Something's wrong. I can feel it. The crystal breaking, the amulet losing its magic. It's all connected." Amber frowned. "You think it's magic gone bad?" "Maybe. Or maybe it's a test," Sofia murmured, tracing her finger along the smooth surface of the amulet. "But if it is, then I have to find the answer on my own." Amber sighed. "You're always trying to fix everything yourself." "You don't have to do this alone, Sofia." But Sofia shook her head. "Sometimes you do. Sometimes, to understand your magic, you have to see who you are without it." Amber didn't understand, but she smiled softly anyway. "Then at least take Clover. He'll keep you company." Sofia smiled. "Thanks, Amber. I'll be careful." Later that night, when the castle had fallen asleep, Sofia slipped out quietly. Dressed in her traveling cloak, she tiptoed down the spiral staircase, holding a small lantern. The halls whispered around her, soft echoes of her past adventures, memories of laughter and lessons. At the bottom of the steps, Clover hopped beside her, rubbing his eyes. "Hey, Princess, you sure about this? You could wait till morning, you know." Sofia smiled down at him. "I have to start now. The sooner I know what's wrong, the sooner I can make things right." They crossed a moonlit courtyard and made their way toward the royal garden fountain, where water shimmered under the stars. That fountain was enchanted. It sometimes reflected things not as they were, but as they were meant to be. Sofia leaned over the fountain's surface and whispered, "Show me what I need to see." For a moment, nothing happened. Then, ripples spread across the water, and an image began to form, the cracked friendship crystal, glowing faintly blue. Around it swirled a shadowy mist, dark and restless. Sofia's heart tightened. So something did cause this. The shadow in the water shifted, forming a faint silhouette, a hooded figure whose voice echoed faintly from the depths. "You relied on others' magic too long. Sofia, let's see if your heart alone can save Enchantia." Clover's first stood on end. That's not creepy at all." Sofia's voice trembled, but her eyes stayed steady. "Then I'll prove it can." The water stilled, and the image faded, leaving only the reflection of the moon. Sofia straightened, determination blooming in her chest. "Clover," she said firmly, "we're going to the forest of reflection. That's where the old royal magic began. Maybe that's where I'll find my answers." Clover groaned. "The forest? At night? Great, just great." But Sofia smiled and took a deep breath of the cool night air. "I'm not scared," she said softly. "I have to find out who I am without this." She looked once more at her amulet, its glow faint as a dying ember. Then she placed it gently under her cloak and whispered, "I'll bring you back." And as she stepped into the night, the faintest spark of light flickered in the amulet's core, small but alive. The night air was cool and silver as Sofia and Clover made their way beyond the castle walls. The moon hung low above the horizon, bathing the land in a soft, ghostly glow. Crickets sang their quiet song, and fireflies danced like tiny sparks of hope guiding their path. Sofia held her lantern close, her cloak brushing to the tall grass. "The forest of reflection should be just beyond the river," she murmured. "That's where the first enchanting kings practiced magic long before the castle was built." Clover hopped beside her, still half grumbling. "You sure we can't, I dunno, reflect on things somewhere closer? Maybe with snacks?" Sofia laughed softly. "You always know how to make things a little less scary." As they reached the silver mist river, its waters shimmered beneath the moonlight. Sofia knelt to refill her lantern oil when she noticed her reflection rippling strangely in the water, almost as if it wasn't her own. She blinked, leaning closer. In the water, her reflection smiled back, but she wasn't smiling. Her heart skipped. "That's not right." Clover peered over the edge. "Okay, I don't like that one bit." The reflection began to speak, its voice soft and echoing like a dream. "You seek answers, Sophia. But are you ready to see the truth?" "I'm not afraid," Sophia said bravely, though her voice trembled. "Show me." The reflection nodded and dissolved into ripples that spread outward, forming a shimmering doorway of light across the river's surface. The air hummed with magic, old, wild, and ancient. Sophia looked at Clover. "Ready?" Clover gulped. Not even a little. Still, they stepped forward together. The moment Sophia's foot touched the glowing surface, the world shifted. They emerged into a place of breathtaking beauty. The forest reflection. Trees of crystal and silver leaves towered above them, their trunks glowing faintly with inner light. Streams of mist flowed between mossy stones that shimmered with memory. Everywhere Sophia looked, reflections of the past danced, scenes from her own life, moments frozen in time. She saw herself as a little girl in the village, helping her mother bake bread. Then, her first day at the castle, tripping over her gown, laughing nervously as she tried to curtsy. She saw the day she became a princess, the first time she met Amber, and the moment the amulet of Avalor was placed around her neck. Each reflection whispered softly as it passed, "Kindness, courage, heart." Sophia's eyes filled with wonder. This place remembers everything. Clover gazed around. "Yeah, well, let's hope it doesn't remember when I stole those royal carrots." Sophia smiled, but then something caught her eye, a darker reflection moving among the trees. A figure cloaked in mist, watching her silently. "Who are you?" she called. The figure's voice was calm, but carried a weight that made the leaves tremble. "I am the keeper of reflection, the guardian of who you were and who you are meant to become." Sophia stepped forward. "Then maybe you can help me. My amulet has lost its magic, and the friendship crystal has shattered. I think someone's trying to take our magic away." The keeper's eyes glowed softly. "Magic does not vanish, young one. It hides when the heart forgets where it comes from." "I haven't forgotten," Sophia insisted. "I use it to help others, to learn, to do what's right." The keeper raised a hand, and the forest shimmered. A new reflection appeared. Sophia relying on her amulet, calling upon other princesses to save the day. Ariel helping her find her voice. Rapunzel guiding her to be brave. Mulan teaching her courage. The keeper's voice echoed. And yet, each time, it was another's strength you borrowed. Have you ever trusted your own? Sophia's breath caught. She'd never thought of it that way. The keeper stepped closer, the light dimming around them. "You are more than the amulet, Sophia, but you cannot see it until you walk without it." Tears filled Sophia's eyes. "I don't want to lose it. It's part of who I am." The keeper's hand rested gently above her heart. "No, child, this is who you are." For a moment, warmth spread through her chest, pure and bright, like sunlight breaking through clouds. The forest shimmered with light, and the amulet beneath her cloak flickered faintly in response. Then the keeper's voice grew faint. "Go to the mirror lake at dawn. There, you will face the truth that binds your magic." Sophia nodded, wiping her tears. "Thank you." But as the keeper vanished in the mist, the reflection behind her darkened, and in its depths, the same hooded shadow from the fountain appeared once more. "You're getting closer, Sophia," the voice whispered. "But the truth may break more than the crystal." The reflection shattered, and the forest went dark. Sophia tightened her grip on her lantern. "Then let it break," she whispered. "I'm not turning back." And with Clover close beside her, she walked toward the light rising in the east, toward Mirror Lake, and the truth that awaited her. Morning crept softly over Enchantia, painting the world in pale gold. As dawn's first light touched the trees, Sophia and Clover finally reached the edge of the forest reflection. Before them stretched a wide, shimmering lake, so still it looked like glass. "This must be it," Sophia whispered, stepping closer. The Mirror Lake. Mist curled across the surface, glowing faintly in the sunrise. Every tree, every leaf, every breath of wind reflected perfectly in its depths. But there was something strange. Sophia couldn't see her own reflection at all. Clover peered into the water, scratching his head. "So where are you? You disappear or something?" Sophia frowned, leaning over the lake. "No, I think it's waiting for me to understand something. She sat down by the shore, her amulet resting cold and heavy against her heart. All my life, this amulet has guided me. Every time I was lost, it showed me the way, but now it's silent, and I don't know what to do. Her voice trembled as she spoke, and the words seemed to echo softly across the water. Then, faintly, the surface rippled. A soft glow began to spread, and from the center of the lake, a shape began to rise, shimmering silver and gentle as moonlight. It was a woman's figure, robed in flowing water, her hair like liquid starlight. Her eyes glimmered with kindness. "Who are you?" Sofia asked, rising to her feet. "I am the spirit of the mirror lake," the figure said softly. "I watch over those who seek their truest selves." Sofia's heart lifted. The keeper of reflection told me to come here. I need to understand what's happened to my magic. The spirit smiled gently. "Then look deeper, young princess. Not at your reflection, but at your heart." Sofia knelt beside the water once more. As she peered into its glowing depths, images began to swirl, memories she knew well. Her first day at Royal Prep, her first time saving a friend, her adventures with Princess Elena, Princess Aurora, and so many others. She watched herself grow stronger, kinder, wiser, but always leaning on the amulet's magic. Every image shimmered with the light of others guiding her. Then the spirit's voice echoed softly. "You have seen the strength of others. Now see your own." The water brightened, and the images shifted. Sofia saw herself comforting her friends when they were afraid, helping a lost bird find its way home, standing up to bullies, believing in what was right even when it was hard. None of those moments had come from magic. They had come from her. Her eyes filled with tears. All this time, I thought the amulet made me special. But it was never just that. It was me. The spirit nodded. "Magic is not the power you wear, Sofia. It is the light you share. The amulet only reflects what is already inside you." Sofia pressed her hand over her heart. "Then if I believe in myself, maybe I can bring the light back." The spirit extended her hand, and the lake began to glow brighter, so bright that the trees themselves shimmered with color. The crystal that shattered holds the same truth. Only when your heart shines on its own can it be made whole again. Just as the light reached its brightest, the surface of the lake suddenly rippled violently. A cold wind swept through the forest, scattering leaves like frightened birds. The spirit gasped, her form flickering. "He is here." Sofia's eyes widened. "Who?" From the shadows at the far side of the lake, a dark mist began to rise. It twisted and coiled, taking the form of a tall, hooded figure, the same one Sofia had seen in her visions. "You've done well, princess," the figure said in a voice like thunder wrapped in silk. "You've learned what I wanted you to, that without your trinkets and spells, you are powerless." Sofia stood tall, her eyes fierce despite the fear that clawed at her chest. "You're wrong. I've learned the opposite." The figure laughed softly. "We'll see." With a wave of his hand, the lake's surface exploded into waves, and dark water crashed around Sofia. The spirit tried to shield her, but the darkness was strong, ancient and bitter. Clover shouted, "Sofia, run!" But Sofia didn't move. She reached into her cloak, gripping the lifeless amulet. "I'm not running anymore," she cried. "My magic doesn't come from this. It comes from me." Her words rang across the lake like a bell, pure and bright. The amulet flared once, then twice, then burst into radiant violet light. The hooded figure recoiled, the mist twisting wildly. "No, that light." Sofia's voice trembled but held steady. "You wanted to test me. Now see who I truly am." The light from the amulet rose like dawn breaking the night, driving the shadow back into the forest. When the light faded, Sofia collapsed to her knees, breathless. The spirit of the lake knelt beside her, smiling softly. "You have done what few can, faced your darkness and found your light." Sofia looked at the amulet. It was glowing again, softly, warmly, as if it had never gone cold. But deep in the forest, a faint whisper still lingered. "This isn't over, little princess." Sofia looked toward the sound, her jaw set with quiet strength. "Maybe not, but I'm not afraid anymore." And for the first time in days, the The morning light felt like hope. By the time the sun had climbed high above the trees, the mirror lake shimmered peacefully once more, as if the dark storm had never touched it. Yet Sofia knew better. The voice that lingered in the shadows was no mere trick of magic. It was something older and far more dangerous. Clover hopped beside her, shaking the water from his fur. "Well, that was fun. You sure know how to pick your adventures, Princess." Sofia smiled faintly, wringing out her cloak. "Sorry, Clover. I didn't mean to drag you into all this." "It's fine. Beats sitting around the castle. But maybe next time we aim for less shadowy doom." Sofia laughed softly, a sound that felt like sunshine breaking through clouds. Then she looked down at the amulet of Avalor, now glowing faintly once more. Its light was softer than before, but steady, like a heartbeat. The spirit of the lake appeared again, her form more transparent than before. "You have awakened your magic, Princess Sofia, but your journey is not yet complete." Sofia looked up at her. "What else must I do?" The spirit's gaze turned solemn. "You must face the trial of the heart, a test not of power, but of truth. Only by passing it can you restore the friendship crystal and heal the balance of magic in Enchantia." Sofia's hand tightened on the amulet. "I'll do it." The spirit nodded once, and the water beneath her shimmered, forming a glowing path across the lake. "Then follow the light and remember, the greatest strength comes not from what you hold, but from what you give." Sofia took a deep breath, stepped onto the shining path, and began to cross. The moment her foot touched the light, the world around her shifted again. Suddenly, she was standing in a vast, open space, not forest, not sky, but something in between. The air glowed softly, and images flickered all around her like scenes reflected in glass. Clover blinked beside her. Where are we?" Sofia looked around in awe. "I think we're inside the trial." One of the glowing images began to take shape, a memory from years ago. It was Sofia's first day at the castle. She saw her younger self tripping over her gown, trying to curtsy, feeling out of place among royal children who whispered and giggled behind her back. Her chest ached. "I remember that day." Then a voice echoed around her, calm, ancient, and all-encompassing. "Do you remember how you felt?" Sofia nodded. "I felt scared, like I didn't belong." "And what did you do?" "I tried harder. I learned. I believed that kindness could help me fit in." The image shimmered, and the scene changed again, now showing a moment when she had been unkind. Even without meaning to, she saw herself snapping at Amber, frustrated after a long day. Amber's face fell into memory, and Sofia's heart clenched. "I didn't mean to hurt her," Sofia whispered. The voice echoed again. "Even hearts filled with kindness can forget their light. Do you forgive yourself?" Sofia's eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she said softly. "I do now, because every mistake helped me become who I am." The light around her brightened, and the next scene appeared, the moment when she had faced her greatest fear, standing against magic gone wrong, protecting her friends even when she was afraid. The voice grew gentler. "What have you learned, Sofia of Enchantia?" Sofia looked down at the amulet, which now glowed bright in her hand. "That being brave doesn't mean never being afraid. It means choosing what's right even when you are." Clover smiled proudly beside her. "That's my princess." The air shimmered once more, and the final image appeared, not a memory, but reflection. Sofia saw herself standing alone, older somehow, stronger, but still wearing the same crown. Her reflection smiled at her and spoke softly. "You were never truly on your own. Your heart was your guide all along." A warm wind swept through the space, and the light around her grew dazzling. Sofia felt it, a surge of love, courage, and peace washing over her. The amulet's glow merged with the light around her, filling everything with brilliance. When the brightness faded, she found herself standing back by the lakeshore. The spirit of the lake was gone, but her voice lingered like a gentle song. "The trial is complete. Go now, Princess, the crystal awaits." Sofia looked at Clover, her eyes shining with quiet strength. "It's time to go home." Clover nodded. "Lead the way, kiddo." And as they began the journey back to Enchantia, the forest seemed to hum softly with life. The trees sparkled with dew, the birds sang brighter, and somewhere in the distance, dawn began to rise again. A new beginning waiting for the girl who had learned that the greatest magic of all was the one that lived in her own heart. By the time Sofia and Clover reached the castle gates, the morning sun had climbed high above Enchantia. The familiar spires gleamed in the light, yet the air felt different, heavier somehow, as if the castle itself were holding its breath. Sofia paused at the bridge leading to courtyard. The once glorious friendship crystal still lay in its protective casing near the fountain, dull and lifeless. Guards stood nearby, speaking in hushed tones. Villagers gathered outside the gates, whispering anxiously. Clover twitched his ears. Looks like everyone's still waiting for something to happen. Sofia nodded softly. Then let's give them hope again. They crossed the bridge quietly. The guards bowed when they saw her. Princess Sofia, one of them said, relief flooding his face. Thank goodness you're safe. We feared the worst when you disappeared. I'm sorry for worrying everyone, Sofia said gently, but I had to find the truth. Inside the courtyard, King Roland, Queen Miranda, and Amber stood by the broken crystal, their faces drawn with concern. When Sofia appeared, Amber rushed forward, her golden gown billowing behind her. Sofia, you're back, she cried, pulling her into a hug. Where have you been? Sofia hugged her sister tightly, tears of joy stinging her eyes. I'll explain everything. But first, I need to fix this. King Roland stepped forward, his brow furrowed. Cedric has tried every spell in his book, but nothing works. The magic seems sealed away. Cedric appeared from behind a pillar, looking both worried and slightly defensive. Yes, well, some ancient curses are beyond even my expertise. Sofia smiled faintly. This isn't about spells anymore. It's about heart. She stepped up to the friendship crystal, her reflection faint in its fractured surface. Around her, the courtyard fell silent. The amulet at her neck pulsed softly with violet light, the same color as dawn reflected on water. Enchantia has always been a kingdom built on love and unity, Sofia said softly. But sometimes, even the strongest bonds can weaken when we forget what connects us. Amber frowned. You mean friendship? Sofia nodded. Exactly. The crystal broke because its magic comes from our hearts. And I think fear and doubt have dimmed that light. It's not just about fixing magic. It's about remembering who we are. King Roland's eyes softened. Then what do you need from us, my daughter? Sofia took a deep breath and held out her hand. Just your trust. Amber and Roland each reached for her hand, followed by Queen Miranda, then Bailiwick, and even Cedric, who hesitated before sighing dramatically and adding his own. Clover hopped onto Sofia's shoulder, and the crowd watching began to murmur, slowly joining hands as well. As their circle grew, a warm glow began to spread through the air. Faint at first, then brighter, softer than sunlight yet stronger than flame. Sofia closed her eyes and whispered, Magic isn't something we take. It's something we share. The amulet of Avalor shimmered, glowing brighter than it ever had before. A beam of soft violet light streamed from it and touched the cracked crystal. For a moment, nothing happened. Then crack! The light spread through every fracture, filling each crack with golden warmth. The pieces lifted into the air, swirling together as if guided by the heartbeat of the kingdom itself. Gasps filled the courtyard as the friendship crystal reformed. Not just whole, but more radiant than ever before. Colors rippled across its surface like 1,000 rainbows, reflecting the faces of everyone gathered. It's beautiful, Amber breathed, tears in her eyes. King Roland's voice trembled with pride. You did it, Sofia. But Sofia shook her head gently. We did it. Together. Just then a soft, familiar voice drifted through the air, gentle and melodic. Well done, Princess Sofia. Sofia turned to see a shimmering figure forming beside the crystal. It was Princess Elena, radiant in her red gown, smiling with warmth and pride. Elena! Sofia gasped, her heart leaping. You came. Elena nodded. The amulet called me, not to help you, but to honor you. You've proven that true strength doesn't come from the magic we wear, but from the kindness we carry. Sofia smiled through her tears. Thank you, Elena. I understand that now. Elena's image began to fade, her voice soft like the wind. "Remember this, Sofia. Every princess must one day stand on her own." And you did. As her light vanished into the air, the crystal pulsed once more, sending a gentle wave of warmth through the crowd. Laughter broke out, music began to play, and for the first time in days, Enchantia's heart felt whole again. Clover nudged Sofia's hand. "Told you could do it." Sofia smiled down at him, her heart full. "I didn't just find my magic again, Clover. I found me." The sun rose higher, shining across the castle towers, bathing the courtyard in gold. The people of Enchantia danced, laughed, and sang, and in the middle of it all stood Sofia, glowing with quiet confidence. But far beyond the castle, in the deep shadows of the forest, the faint whisper stirred once more. Light or no light, every heart casts a shadow. And though Sofia didn't yet know it, her story and her courage were not yet finished. The dawn that followed was unlike any Enchantia had seen before. The skies shimmered with hues of pink and gold, and the gentle bells of the castle rang out to announce a new day, one born not of royal decree or magic, but of unity. Sofia stood by her window, gazing out over the kingdom she loved. The newly restored friendship crystal now gleamed proudly in the courtyard, sending streams of light through the morning mist. Below, she could see people from every corner of Enchantia, bakers, farmers, knights, and children, working together, laughing, rebuilding what had been lost. And for the first time in a long while, Sofia didn't feel small. She didn't feel like the youngest princess trying to catch up with everyone else. She felt ready. A gentle knock came at her door. "Come in," she said softly. Amber entered, wearing a gown the color of morning sunshine. "You're up early," she said, sitting beside Sofia. "I thought after saving the entire kingdom, you'd sleep for a week." Sofia laughed. "I tried, but the birds outside wouldn't stop singing." Amber smiled. "I used to think you were just a little sister who stumbled into magic, but yesterday I realized something. You've grown into someone everyone looks up to, even me." Sofia's eyes softened. "I've always looked up to you too, Amber. You taught me what it means to be graceful, even when things are hard." Amber blinked, caught off guard by her sister's words. Then she smiled, truly smiled. "Then I guess we both learned from each other." They hugged, and for a moment, everything felt simple and perfect. Later that morning, the castle courtyard was filled once again, this time not with worry, but with celebration. Banners fluttered, music played, and laughter echoed against the marble walls. King Roland stepped forward to address the people. "My friends," he said, his voice booming across the courtyard, "today we honor the courage and heart of someone who reminded us all of what Enchantia stands for: unity, kindness, and the belief that no one is ever too small to make a difference." He turned to Sofia, who blushed as the crowd erupted into applause. Clover thumped his foot excitedly. "Sofia," the king continued, "your bravery has rekindled our light. You've proven that leadership isn't measured by age, but by compassion. And for that, we are forever proud." Sofia curtsied gracefully. "Thank you, father. But the truth is, I didn't do this alone. Everyone in Enchantia helped bring back the light. That's what makes our kingdom magical." The cheers grew louder, and Sofia's heart swelled with pride and humility. She looked at her amulet, now glowing softly against her chest, no longer heavy with mystery, but radiant with meaning. Then, as the crowd began to dance and celebrate, Sofia slipped away quietly to the garden, the same garden where she had once cried, feeling lost and unsure. Now, she walked through it with quiet peace. As she approached the old stone fountain, a gentle ripple spread across its surface. The reflection shimmered, and suddenly, the faint figure of Princess Elena appeared again, her smile bright as the sun. "Elena!" Sofia gasped. "I thought you had gone." Elena's image flickered warmly. "I'm never far, Sofia. The amulet's magic connects us, as long as you carry its spirit within you." Sofia smiled. "You were right, Elena. I needed to stand on my own to see who I really am." Elena nodded. "And now you know, the greatest magic is not in spells or jewels. It's in believing in yourself." Sofia looked down at the reflection, her voice filled with calm determination. Then I'll use that magic to guide others, the same way you guided me. Elena's eyes sparkled. That's what true princesses do. The reflection faded, leaving behind only ripples and the sound of birds singing in the morning light. Sofia took a deep breath, feeling the gentle wind dance through her hair. Clover hopped up beside her. So what now, princess? Sofia smiled, looking toward the castle, toward her family, her people, and the bright day ahead. Now I help others find their light too. Clover grinned. Figures. You just saved the whole kingdom, and you're already planning your next adventure. Sofia laughed. That's what princesses do, Clover. We keep going. The camera of imagination pulls back, rising above the castle, above the hills, until the whole of Enchantia glows in the sunrise. The people dance, the banners wave, and in the heart of it all stands one small but mighty princess, her spirit shining brighter than ever. As the golden light spreads, a soft voice, Elena's, like a whisper carried by the wind, says, "Every journey begins with courage, but it's love that carries us home." And with that, the story of Sofia the First, brave, kind, and finally on her own, comes to a gentle, hopeful close. Sparkles the end sparkles.